something I see really commonly occurring is it used to be a thing. It used to come, actually, a lot of men used to come to me as like they're in relationships and the relationships have become sexless or near sexless, and their partner's sex drive has disappeared, and they'd be like, either they're like, I don't know what to do, but my friends have told me this is how it is. This is how all relationships are. So I should just accept it. But I don't really know what I need to do about her sex drive, or does she need to eat differently? There's something that she needs to do for her sex drive to improve or be, reignited. And I often felt that they're missing something. They're not looking at this from the right perspective. They're looking at this like there's something wrong with her over here. And I'd love to get your take on this. Like, in these instances, what are men missing about what's really going on in their relationship?
I think, again, men have been trained to look at sex as release. Right? Sex is release. It's just, and I can get that release. I can get excited for that release very quickly. And maybe this is also trained on years and years of porn as well, and doing porn in secret. And when you have to do porn in secret, gosh, you can get ejaculation very fucking quickly. And so, there's this training of like, dopamine, or numb myself, or, I feel like there's too much. Let me emotionally regulate through that release. Okay, so that's one side of this. That's one side of it. The man's view of sex is very one-dimensional in a lot of cases. But I had a man very recently ask me, Sandra, loving your academy, but we're not necessarily talking enough about sex. I want to talk more about sex. And I was like, okay. I was like, as I always say, what are your conversations with your wife about sex? And he's like, well, I ask for it all the time. I was like, no, not your requests for this kind of release of sex. When was the last time you asked your wife, what does good sex look like to you? When was the last time you asked your wife, hey, not the sex that we're doing, how can we actually together make sure we both really enjoy this? And then when you work it out, you actually see for women that sex and intimacy has a lot less to do with the act itself. It has a lot more to do with the kind of man that you are. And do you connect with your wife and ask her how she is and actually care? Or do you only really want to know how she is so that you can release? Because if you start looking at sex that way, wow, we just don't have sex. I mean, I often see it in my consultation calls when people haven't spoken to me before, and they'll be like, but there's a win. We had sex last week. Like, that's really cool. Like it's showing me that it's good. I'm like, no, do you, like, an indication of your intimacy is a lot closer linked to, do you know how your wife is feeling right now? Is your wife just checked out for the last year and you just ignored it and gone, you know what, hey, I'm just going to hope for sex one day? Like, that's not going to get you closer there. And change the view from it. Actually care what's going on with her. Ask her how her day is. Step up in your initiation and work. And then the last thing I'll say on that front before we can maybe open the discussion and talk about it a bit more is women, I mean, there's a good thing about having over 390,000 women that follow me across social media and seeing their comments every single day. And then talking to women as well in DMs, and also then seeing my wife do this work. Women will also not be attracted to a man that they feel they have to mother. If they feel that they have to mother you by you asking for a list, you asking, what do I need to do around my house because I don't know where things are, you asking where the fuck the scissors are because you've had no idea where they've been for the last 3, 5, 10, 15 years that you've lived there, you saying, oh shit, I forgot the kids needed the doctor's appointment. Oh, wait, where's the doctor again? You've taken them to the fucking doctor 6 years in a row. Why don't you know where it is? Straight away, if she sees that in a man, that is a man who is on autopilot, who is floating down the wind and not really present in his life, and they will look like a boy. So there are a few factors there. Number one, sex by men is being looked at as a release, and we've been trained for that, so we have to untrain that. Sex is more about connection. Oh, and the final bit about that, oh God, I get interested in it, obviously, as you can hear, is what you're saying to your wife if you just want release, by the way, if you just look at sex in that way, is And this is how she takes it internally, which is fucking mind-blowing if you really think about it. She's really hearing, hey, honey, I just want to fucking get my rocks off. I would prefer it be inside you because I don't want to cheat. But if it wasn't you, it may as well be any other woman or my hand. Right? That is what we do when we look at sex like just release. So we have to change that because that is what you're actually subconsciously doing, or that's what your wife is hearing from you. Then number two, it's the connection. Do you know the emotional connection that your wife feels? Are you connected to her? Do you know what she likes? Are you able to even have conversations about sex? And finally, number three, are you a boy within the relationship? And I think if you solve those three, sex happens very fucking naturally.
Yeah. That point on the release is so underthought of by so many men, because with you've just been one type of training about what sex is like, and this release, and then the back end of that release, of constant release, is men don't often realize that, well, your wife, your partner, she feels like the sex you're having is just a release for you. It's not really about her. Like you said, it could be a hand, it could be her, it could be of another person. And in that is...
It could be a fucking sex doll for all you care, you know?
Yeah.
She just has to lie there. You know, that's the shit that you know, it's the saddest shit you see in women's programs that my wife runs. And you see women literally say that. They go, I just have sex with my husband because he wants it, not because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and this, I think this is one of the massive reasons why sex dries up, is when the sex you're having is, for her, isn't worth having.
Her sex drive goes down when there's, like, if you don't want it. I mean, if you always buy mangoes from the shop, and the mango, we have these certain mangoes from Spain that sometimes they taste like they're shit. Like, they taste awful. Julia calls them cum mangoes because they're disgusting. All right, so now I know what cum tastes like. Thank you. So these cum mangoes, we don't want to buy mangoes anymore because they're always tasting like shit. So, like, that now I go to places in the world where there are amazing mangoes, but I'm still a little bit burnt. My mango drive is pretty damn low because they don't taste good. So it's very, you train yourself out of it 100%.
Yeah, then you train her into that. Oh, this is how sex is. It's going to be shit. She's like, well, I'd just rather sleep for another 15 minutes.
Why not? Actually, I just have a headache.
And then wonder why. And it's not just that, right? The other parts is like, how are you showing up as a man in the rest of your relationship? Your ability to have a conversation about sex, because it's uncomfortable, isn't it? We grow up in environments where we don't learn how to have conversations about sex with our partners, let alone friends or therapists. Like, to be in that emotional discomfort of, oh, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Because I think that's a lot of what comes up for men, is like, I maybe not be very good enough. She's going to tell me that there's something I'm doing wrong. She's going to tell me that she doesn't enjoy the sex we're having. And these... And
here's another one of those, by the way, here's another one of those identity things that happens here with sex. So this is even linking back to there. You know, I'll be judged. I have shame around this. I remember one of my ex-partners said that she really enjoyed being choked. Gosh, here we go. There's something I never thought I would say out loud. And I would do it, and then she told me something like that. Like, I did it like really weakly, and I felt so shamed about it. Like, I didn't really want to try anything in the bedroom after that because I was just like, I didn't really want to do that. And then you asked me, and then you told me kind of off for it, and so like I had this like real shame around it, and so it's very easy for us to create fear and have shame around these things. And I guess what we want to do with our partners and our long-term partners is to try and create as much safe space for each other as possible. And that's something that I think women can do too, is if they want more exploration as well, it's a delicate space. It's a delicate space for some men, and it doesn't mean you have to coddle and you have to, pull it out in all that kind of way, but creating safety is really important for exploration.
Just acknowledging for the two of you that it is a topic that's hard to talk about. That's such an easy way to start with, like, I find this hard to talk about actually, but it's something that I really think would be great for us to talk about. And then it gives you so much license to some degree to what you say next, because you've set the scene, you've made it clear that there's a difficulty here, but it's important and you're willing to lean into this.
Exactly. Look at it this way. That admission of fear is so endearing, even for your partner. You cannot underestimate how, like, it's so much strength to admit that you have fear. In actual fact, that's the thing that people see as strength. Again, I'll go back to my directing days. I once directed a show, and we were auditioning people to come on to play a part. And often people would come and they would get on the stage and they would say something, and you could see that they were nervous. You could see that they were nervous, but they just fucked it up. And then you're like, okay, next. But then somebody comes on and they come to the front of the stage, they screw something up and they say, hey guys, I'm really sorry. Give me a little bit of time. I'm really nervous. But they say it in such a vulnerable way. And then they do it. And they might have the exact same performance as the person before. But because they said, I'm vulnerable, you stop and you go, I feel for you. I get you. And that is the same in our dynamics as partners. If we actually can come out here and say, look, this is something that's hard for me, but we're going to tackle it anyway. That goes a long way.